You got in? You're in that band?
Say that! I'll do this fucking baby! Shut up, you tits!
Ah, fuck off, Glenn!
Mother!
Look around the table. In 5 years, we're all going to hate each other. But we'll be rich.
Do I look like a pop star to you?
I wouldn't change a hair on your head.
Hello, guys. Congratulations on the movie. What a wild ride. Jonno, you look a lot different in person.
Yeah.
Has to be said.
Yeah.
You'll be getting sick of that joke.
Makeup can do wonderful things.
Before taking on these roles as, you know, some great pop stars, were you fans of their music before? Was this a complete learning curve for you both?
Okay.
You go.
All right. I saw Robbie in concert when I was 9 years old with my mum and dad at MK Bowl, and he was the kind of the epitome of what it was to be a pop star and a rock star. You know, that was early 2000s that I would have seen that, and you could not move around the UK without seeing a poster or hearing one of his songs. So I was a proper fanboy back then, and you know, it's all come full circle now, which is amazing.
Yeah. Did you have an All Saints fandom?
I was a huge All Saints fan of Never Ever. I think it's the best opening to any pop song, possibly.
Whoa.
I've memorized that thing.
More spoken word intros.
We need more of them.
Yeah.
So no, I was a huge fan. I didn't have their whole catalogue, so that was fun for me to dive into once I got the role, but I was definitely familiar with them.
So, Jonno, of course, the thing with most music biopics is actors, they try and look the part as much as possible. That's not an issue you'd have here because you were under motion capture. So just want to know, how much studying of Robbie did you do prior to, you know, going in front of cameras, knowing that you would look like a monkey on screen?
Well, you know, the fact that I was going to be portrayed as a monkey made it really freeing for me. It meant that I could take all vanity out of the situation. You know, often when you're doing films, you're thinking, oh God, there's my double chin, or, well, you know, is this my best side? That can completely go out the window. So it was about focusing on the performance. And there's so much footage of Rob out there from performing, but also being interviewed. There was a huge, like, encyclopedia for me to study, which is brilliant and really helpful as an actor. But then to make sure that we had depth to the character, to make sure that we showed more than one perspective, it was very useful for me to meet the man himself and find that more kind of vulnerable, that, you know, the human behind the pop star, and to make sure that that side of him became approachable and relatable. Because often when we see famous people, we think they're on this pedestal and they're so distant from us, they can't be anything like us, where they are just regular people with extraordinary stories. And so it's really handy to meet him in person, to have that time with him, that one-on-one time with him, to have the balance of the two.
Did he give you any advice?
Don't do what I did, a little bit, maybe. No, he's, you know, for Rob, he was very courteous in the sense that he let me go and do my job, really. There was no like, oh, actually, this is how I would have said it, or anything like that. It was very much trusting me, trusting Michael, the director, knowing that he would tell the story properly, and kind of just winding me up and letting me go, really.
For me, one of the big surprises is just how harrowing your relationship arc is through the film, which I just wasn't prepared for going in. I mean, what was filming those scenes as intense as it looks?
It was pretty intense. I think particularly there's a scene where we have an argument in Nicole's living room, and we shot that over a couple of days, and that was pretty intense to go through. And we're really trying to find the right tone and honour their story. Interestingly, the way things that are shot, the way scheduling fell, our meeting scene was actually the last thing we shot. And so we kind of got to finish on this real light note, and we just got to play and flirt and dance, and which was a nice way to finish because it's pretty dark. They go to some dark places, and them being so young makes it even more tragic.
Yeah, and I guess that's why the romance of that scene feels all the better, because you two have built up sort of a chemistry of breaking up first.
Yeah.
Totally. and Michael wanted us to kind of bring ourselves out into that scene, didn't he? He was like, throw each other off guard a little bit, add in a few lines here and there just to kind of break up the structure of a written scene, you know, kind of add your own flourishes to it, which was really fun as well.
Yeah, I mean, how much of yourself were you able to find whilst playing these famous characters? Because it feels like there must be a limit.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what makes a good character is, though, when you find yourself in them, even if it's a slither, right? That's what keeps it grounded and authentic. As long as you can empathise with their story, even though you don't know what it's like to live in those shoes, you can understand what it's like. And I think although you've got the spectacle of the monkey in our movie, it's such a character and relationship-driven story that they were so well written, those scenes, that it gave us great scope to be able to kind of to play around and to find the kind of the end the zone of where we could play and where we could really stretch out these moments.
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the triumphs of the movie is that you immediately buy into the monkey conceit immediately. You don't question it. But whilst filming, did either of you ever worry that this might not be pulled off, that this was so outlandish that there was only a slim chance it could work?
And for me, it was, my question really was when it came in the audition brief, because you're like, what? And then as time went on, and when I met Michael, he was so generous and shared sketches of what they wanted him to look like as a child and adult. We saw animations of how he wanted to visualize it. So we all arrived with a vision. But then that all goes out the window, because when I'm acting, I don't see Robbie, the real Robbie, or the monkey Robbie. I just see Jonno. And then it's just about playing with that person and making that relationship feel real. So that all felt so honest, and everything else around it is magic that they all then add in later.
I did almost decapitate her a few times though with the camera boom. That was probably when you were like, why does he have to be a monkey?
Yeah.
We definitely got a blooper reel.
Yeah. I mean, that's the come down everybody needs. It's the blooper reel. Just want to ask, I mean, obviously, there's so many great Robbie songs in here, but speaking to Michael earlier, there was even more that didn't fit in. So I just want to know, have your favourite Robbie Williams songs made it into the film, or are there ones that you wish could have been included?
For me, Come Undone is probably my favourite, and that's got such a beautiful moment, a really artistic moment in the film, which I'm so happy that's honoured. The one that got away for me would be Millennium. I think that's the music video, the kind of the strings is so...
It's very Hollywood as well, right? Yeah.
You can't have them all.
No. I think for me, knowing the trajectory that the story goes on, I felt like Strong is a really good one of sort of captures the ethos of the film and Robbie's sort of journey as well. But, I can't argue with the choices they've made. They've done pretty well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the good thing. It leaves room open for a sequel, doesn't it?
Better a man, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Better a man.
Are we
We'll be
pushing
there.
that? Okay,
yeah.
we're pushing
I
that.
pitched to Michael earlier, Better Men.
Yeah, like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring Gary Ballard's transformed into a now.
Yeah.
Guys, anyway, congratulations. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thanks
Cheers,
so
lovely to
much.
meet you.